Hey, what's up everybody, Yagamatsu here today with another video, and I must say, it is probably the most exciting update and the most interesting update I have seen in a while. I'm here actually joined today by a special guest, Dace. So what's up, Dace?
Hello.
So if you guys are wondering, there have been huge changes to how artifacts work. First off, PD botting, like black marketing, is basically about to go down because artifacts aren't droppable, or at least currently they are planned to not be droppable. There will also be no holding restrictions on artifacts, so that means you can hold multiple artifacts at once. The rates will be buffed. You can also like choose your artifacts, so you can choose like Lannis, Fair Frozen, Metal Scream Key, and a PD if you want. You can also sell the artifacts for like a really good amount of silver, and there will be no PD cooldown. So if you have like 2 or 3 PDs on you, you can just like pop all of them if you're on 1 life. Personally, I think it's going to change Gaia for the better. Dace, what is your opinion on this?
It's going to be a massive hit to Gaia in total. It's going to completely eliminate black marketers, scammers. I think it's going to reintroduce old Rogue in a way.
One thing I've been hearing is that people are comparing it to like how old Castle Rock used to be because of they're buffing the rates like pretty high. Do you think it will actually be the same as old Castle Rock?
Well, I definitely think that the artifact spawn rates will be buffed, so we'll definitely see a lot of similarities between old Castle Rock and new Castle Rock in the coming future.
I feel you. The nice thing as well, guys, is that PDs and ice essences, they won't like have the mystery item thing, so you can also just find them how they usually are. So it's not like, oh, all artifacts are replaced by like this mystery item that's like kind of difficult to get. It's like PDs and ice essences are like the uncommon one, while like the artifact like item, which would probably just be like a question mark, maybe 4 of them. You can like find those and it'll let you pick, and then you can pick a PD or ice essence. And they're also like planning to, if you do find an artifact and you get one but you don't need it anymore, you'd also be able to trade it in for a PD at like an NPC. Personally, in my opinion, I think that not only the good thing is that it's getting rid of like black marketing in general, but it also give a chance for players who have generally like tried to grind for artifacts for a while, and sometimes a lot of people, they are pretty unlucky when trying to like trade artifacts. A lot of them either get scammed or they can't find like a good deal. So I think it will be really beneficial to those who haven't been really able to find like an artifact like legitly. So I think, in my opinion, it's a good like buff to those players. Black markers losing, by the way. Dace, your thoughts?
As I said before, man, like black market's going to be taking a massive hit. They all molding, they're crying, they're going to have to find a new income. And scammers, since like they're my people, I've got like hundreds of scam vouchers. Scamming for PDs and like mid-tier artifacts is going to be so more, or like impossible now because of the new update. So people are going to have to go back to scamming like sigil helm services and arm removal services. So that we're going to see a definite massive change in the way people trade.
So initially, like one opinion I have had, or one thought I've had initially was like, it might be tough trying to like find a PD. Let's say you're like 1 life, you're like a Spider Cloak D-Sage, and then you get ganked in Castle Rock, and well, you were trying to find a PD because your friends can't drop you one, and well, now you just got wiped. Well, the thing is, I think while that may be like a concern for many, because like, all my PDs are on my bank alts, you know what I mean? I think the best thing for people is the fact that you can actually like find the Spider Cloak again. It won't be really limited. Of course, it'll still be like artifact rarity, but I assume this, like, we don't know yet, but we assume that it will be at least buffed a decent bit back to the rates it were like back in the old days. Again, comparing it to old Castle Rock, to where you can actually like find maybe like an artifact every couple runs, and of course a lot of PDs that come with it. The only thing that I would hate to see is that if PDs became too easy to find, if they buff the rates a little bit too much. So like some guy, of course they'll probably have like a cap of like 3 or 2 PDs, but even then, like some guy, let's just say he's like a mage, right? Like a Hoppa mage, and he's ganking you. It's like a 1v10, and you guys kill him. He has 3 PDs on him. He just comes back and he pops one, and you guys just continue fighting. I just think that would, in my opinion, it would kind of ruin like the intensity of the fight for not only like the Hoppa mage, but also the people fighting the Hoppa mage. Like, yo, we just killed this guy and he's coming back. Because most people, they log after they die, right? It's like, okay, I gotta wait for my PD cooldown. Well, now not only have they removed the ability to only hold 1 PD, but you can also just pop them anytime you want. So if I have like 2 or 3 PDs, what's going to stop me from just coming back into the fight? Or if I'm like an Azo, I like lose my taunt, so I just get back to Sentinel, get it, and I just join back in the fight. I think it could be pretty dangerous, because I know there's a lot of people who they'll probably just like farm Castle Rock for like an hour in one of their safe servers. or like multiple people will farm Castle Rock for like a good bit in their safe servers, and they'll stack up on those PDs, and then they'll go ganking with those PDs, and they won't leave the server. They'll just pop a PD and come back into the fight, which I don't know how that'll change up Gaia combat, but that is something I probably see happening in the future. Your opinion about this, Dace? What do you think?
Yeah, as you said, like mages like Milo, 2 soul snaps are going to get 1 comboed. They're just going to jump back in, like completely ruining the severity and like the risk part of rogue lineage ganking, because they can just have like 18 PDs on them, basically becoming a cameo. This also like changed the way White Kings works, surely, because anyone could be a cameo with enough PDs and without a PD cooldown.
Actually, speaking about cameos, I thought it'd be really cool. So the thing is, again, since you can hold multiple artifacts and you can actually like, you know, wipe with them, if you really wanted to, like, you would just probably make like a Deep Knight cameo, you know what I mean? Because let's just say you have a White King's Amulet and a Lannis. You're like, okay, I kind of want to make a Faceless build, but then you're like, hold up, I've never like, you know, tried playing cameo as a Deep Knight. It might get wiped really easily. But, you know, let's just say you don't really like playing as a cameo. You can just try out the build now because, well, you have a Lannis as a backup. You can just make your Faceless Lannis, you know, build whenever you want, because it's never going to go away. That's the beauty of this update. You can just use an artifact and make a build that you want, and then keep the other artifacts for later. So in a way, you don't really need like, you know, artifact alts anymore, because if you find all the artifacts, then you can just use them whenever you want to. The only thing is, of course, like, you know, if your friend finds one and like, oh, I don't really need a spider cloak, I'm trying to give this to my D-Sage friend, you can't do that anymore. And I think that's probably one of like, you know, the things that suck most about this artifact, this artifact update, the fact that you can't like just give your friend like a Fair Frozen. If, you know, I'm like a mage, I need a Philo, he has a Philo, I have a Fair Frozen. We can't just like give it to each other. We just kind of have to you know, stick with the fact that like, oh, I guess I can't just use it anymore. And it also might suck for those guys who also are like day like 999, you know what I mean? Like they have over 1,000 days. They don't really want to wipe their character. They find a Fair Frozen, like I guess they're just gonna have a Fair Frozen on them forever unless they trade it in for like silver, which I think that's probably the part that sucks the most. Well, for the most part, guys, I'm just excited to see the fact that I can finally like choose an artifact if I find one. The only thing I'm kind of like concerned about is like the PD cooldown for me personally, or not the PD cooldown, but you can't really drop other people PDs, because that's how I got all my PDs. I'm not gonna lie. Fans will just come up, they drop me a PD, I'm like, oh, bet, thanks. Now I'm gonna have to actually do the work myself. Yeah, I think it was coming, but it's whatever. I don't really mind wiping anyway. But I think it will be really interesting to see all the unique builds that will also come out of this, because now people won't be afraid to try unique builds. Like, for example, I saw a really interesting build that more people should, in my opinion, try out. It was a Monk Akuma with a Fair Frozen. People like Monk Akuma with a Fair Frozen. It sounds interesting, and it was actually a really good build. I couldn't beat it on my Spider Cloak, but yeah, it was a really interesting build, and I kind of wanted more people to try it out. It had Lightning Elbow. It was really interesting, but a lot of people won't try it out because, you know, oh, they just know like the casual D-Slayer Fair Frozen build. But if they find 2 Fair Frozens, or they can like choose 2 Fair Frozens because it's like a question mark artifact, then you can try out that build first, see if you like it. If not, then you can just pop your second Fair Frozen. And who's to say you won't find another artifact of that rarity, since, you know, the rarities are going up. So yeah, that's all I really have to say for this video, guys. Again, shout out to Dace for being featured in this video. Also Neil, thank you so much for attending as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
So basically, I think that, so if you're a Shinobi and you find a Lannis, you can pop the Lannis, and if you find another mystery item, you can pop the FF. Well, not pop the FF, but choose the FF. And then for your next wipe, you can make an FF D-Slayer or an FF Deep Knight or whatever. So I think we're definitely going to be in for a whole lot of changes. And Dragon wants to like, just cut this out, man. Like, I'm so bad. Like,
yeah,
get my boy Neil in here, bro. Just
just carry on.
The feature's good, but like, I'm so bad. Just cut this out. Just cut this out.
There's like gonna be more artifact builds in Gaia, you know. So like, it's gonna be more fun fighting with like a bunch of cameo FF.
I think you just
whatever.
like,
and then
like,
instead of just fighting super classes all the time, it's gonna be fun, you know.
I think you just cut that part out and then like take some ideas from me and Neil or whatever, and then just continue with your part. Because I'm terrible at not public speaking, but like speaking. I just usually post shit posts on my channel.
It's cool. You get used to it.